Hello everyone, Medford Collectibles back here. We are getting ready for the National. It is Tuesday night. We are leaving tomorrow. So my son Ethan and I meet my older brother out in Chicago. Fly out tomorrow evening around 6 o'clock. Get into Chicago around 7. And then we'll be at the National on Thursday, day 1. I guess technically day 2. Starting at 10 a.m. out there. Then we'll be there all day Friday as well. Maybe Saturday. We're going to play it by ear. But excited to get out there, just get everything together and getting packed. And as part of that, we're gonna do an SGC take-home sub. So I put together 44 cards, all vintage, 80s, 70s and older. I'm gonna drop off while I'm there. So I've been putting this together for a while. Some of these I missed the PSA vintage sub. So decided to just give them SGC. It's 15 bucks a card and drop off at the National, have it back to you in 5 to 10 days afterwards. So can't really beat that. So we're gonna go through, see where we're setting it in. Got some pretty unique stuff in here. As always, you guys like the videos, give us a follow, give us a like. If you're gonna be at the National this week, leave a comment below, try to meet up. I am bringing a full case of cards. Bringing mainly graded stuff, but also going to bring some raw like patches and autos that I may end up dropping off to ComC. I haven't really done anything with ComC, but I have an account. I may drop a box off to them and just get rid of those and test that out with some, again, a bunch of like $5, $10, $15 patches and autos that I have. So we'll see. Let's get started. So first up here, we got an 1880s trade card, a Panicker. Some pretty good shape. These are pretty cool cards. Not many of these graded. You will see some of the SGC pop reports, but for the 1880s, this is probably a, if it gets a grade, because they're hand cut and it's a little wavy, I don't know, it's probably a 2 if it gets graded, but really expect an authentic on that one. So as always, I'm gonna mark these down so I can see what they come back as. I did just did a PSA submission yesterday and packed it up, sent it, forgot to do a video. It's only 25 cards from the 80s. They're 80 special for 15 bucks. So nothing too crazy in that submission, but forgot. So I have them written down. When they come back, we'll do a reveal video. I've got two, I'm not sure if these are gonna get graded or not. These are, what I think these are is Allen & Ginter box toppers from whenever this set came out. So they're legitimate 1880s Allen & Ginters, but you'll see on the back, the tape marks, I think these were taped like advertisements to the boxes of Allen & Ginters and weren't actually cards themselves. So they look like they're hand cut. We'll see. I'm gonna send them in and see if they'll authenticate them. So just expecting A on both of those, but may come back as not the real thing because they don't have the backs on them. So I don't know. We're gonna see what happens with those. The cardstock's a little different on those, they're a little thicker. So again, hoping for an A. I picked those up at a card shop for a good deal. I just not sure what they're gonna come back as. These next two boxing cards, you got Kid Kaplan and Billy Young Strabling. I had these in CSG holders. I sent these into CSG. CSG will not grade hand-cut cards. They both look like they meet the minimum requirements to me. I can see blue around both borders, which tells me they're cut to the right size. I'm hoping SGC will give these a grade. Probably a 4 or a 5 on both of these. I'll say a 4, but they're in pretty good shape. No creases. Wouldn't be surprised to get a 5 maybe on one of these, but I'll say 4 on both of those. Just trying to upgrade those from an authentic grade into a number grade. So hopefully those get that. If they come back authentic, you know, it is what it is. Just move them like that. Got 1953 Bowman Color Eddie Matthews. This one's kind of beat up. Got some paper loss in the front there, some wear. This is probably a 2. But a decent looking card otherwise. So we'll see a 2 on the Eddie Matthews. Got a 1955 Topps Willie Mays. This one, you can see it's got some pen marks. It's got a little wear on it. I picked this up raw at a card shop. It's got some more pen marks here. They put right here, it looks like. So I think that's what they put, right. So I'm just gonna get this authenticated. I think if it were going to PSA, I would say it'd be like a 2 MK. At SGC, they may just put it authentic altered, or it's probably I don't know. know, I'll say a 1.5 because of the markings and some of the ink stuff on it. But it's 55 tops, Willie Mays, just worth it to get authenticated in a holder. So we'll say a 1.5 there because of the pen marks. Could be a little higher, could be lower, I don't know, we'll see. So Duke Snyder Post, this is another one that was in a, I think it was in a CSG holder. Yeah, CSG holder here as well, Post serial. Again, authentic with CSG. Again, I can see the black around the borders for the most part, so hoping this gets a number grade. It's probably a 3. Not a real valuable card, but for 15 bucks, I'm just gonna get it in a holder and hopefully get a number grade. So we can go from authentic to a 3 or a 4. Not really worth a whole lot, but just a cool card. So I'll put a 3 there. I got a 1960 Topps Mickey Mantle. Picked this one up raw auction. You see it's got some paperware there. Probably an outside chance at a 3, but I'm gonna say a 2. I don't see any creases, but that the paper loss, the wear there on the front is pretty substantial. So I'll say a 2 on that, on the Mantle. Next up, we have a 62 Willie Mays All-Star. This one came back as min size required from PSA. Or, yeah, minimum size requirement. Not trim, but just smaller than it should be. I measured, it looks fine. I don't see any evidence of trimming on it. Sometimes these cards are miscut in PSA. You can see it's kind of diamond cut a little bit. PSA won't grade them, whereas SGC is typically a little more lenient on these factory miscuts. So I think this is going to be probably a 4 if it grades. So we'll see if it comes back. Again, got sent to me back from PSA. Not gradable, so we'll see there as a 4. Next up is a Bob Gibson. This is another one that came back to me as recolored. And if you guys watched the video where this came back, I looked all over this card. I cannot find where it was recolored. The edges aren't recolored with brown. You'd have to use a brown marker somewhere. I cannot see it anywhere on this card. So I don't know what they're saying was recolored. Could have just been a mistake. I'm hoping it's a mistake. I'm going to send it back in. So this will either come back authentic altered from the SGC, or I think it could be a 5. So we'll see. Worth a shot for 15 bucks to see if there was a mistake made. To me, it looks like it, but I'm not an expert either. So we'll see what happens. Next up, I'm gonna try again on this Ernie Banks. This one came back. Again, they would not grade it. I think it's because of how fragile it is. It's just authentic. I got one back that was a 1. It was pretty beat up, and this one's even worse. It's really thin. It is intact, but it's really thin and kind of in rough shape. So I'm just hoping to get that authenticated in a holder. So I'm just looking for an A there, but could come back as do not holder again from SGC. Next here, we got a 65 Topps Steve Carlton. This one's in pretty good shape. Probably between a 3 and a 4 would be my guess. I don't think there's any crease in this card. I just picked this up from a card shop maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I got a couple raw vintage cards that I'm sending in here. So I'm going to say a 3.5 on this one because the corners are pretty worn. It is well centered though, so I'm going to say a 3.5 on the Carlton rookie. These next two, now I sent a bunch of these probably 1.5 years ago to PSA. They took forever to come back, maybe more than 1.5 years ago. I think it might have been 2021. It took over 1.5 years to come back. These two were probably 2 of the cleanest copies I had sent, and they both came back as miscut. So I had sent a bunch of 66 Topps in that were high numbers and high grades, but I got a bunch of 7s and 8s back. I've sold most of them at this point, but these two came back. The Aaron I thought was going to be a 7 or better. You can see this card's very clean, very sharp. Thought it could have an outside chance of an 8. I'll say a 7 there, and I thought the Starge would be a 7 as well. Starge was not quite as good as the Aaron as far as sharpness, but I thought these would both be 7s. But again, these are both came back as miscut. I didn't get charged for them. Miscut from PSA. Even though I sent them in with all the other same cards from the set that I bought all in one collection. So we'll see. We'll say 7-7, but could come back as miscut from SGC as well, obviously. Johnny Bench, rookie card. Again, picked this one up raw with the Carlton and the Nolan Ryan you see sitting here. Pretty good shape. OC. This one's got a little bit of a diamond cut as well, so there's a risk of a miscut there. I'm gonna say it's a 3 just because of the centering, and it's pretty sharp, but not perfect. So I'm gonna say a 3 on the Johnny Bench. And then the Nolan Ryan's kind of unfortunate. You can see it pretty good on screen here. See the big crease right down the middle. The card, when you hold it at the right angle, looks pretty good. Looks like a solid 3, but big crease. So I think it's going to be a 1 because the crease is substantial right down the middle of the card. Looks like somebody bent it in half. Probably a long time ago, but as 1s go, pretty good 1. So just hoping for a 1 there. Deco Edge Clemente. This one's in pretty good shape. Again, picked this up raw from another card shop. Got a couple card shops near me that had some pretty good vintage stuff as I've been making my rounds here in Charlotte over the last few months. This one I think will be... The back's got some wear on it, but these are tough to grade. I have someone who's gotten a 5 back before. I think this is better than a 5. I think it's probably a 6. Maybe an outside chance at a 7, so... It's a good looking card. I'm going to say a 6 on the Clemente. Not overly valuable. I just think they're cool cards. From the same guy, I bought some Milton Bradleys. So these are the 69 Milton Bradleys here. Got 2 of these. Not high grades. This one's creased up here. This is probably a 3. This one's a little better, but it also has a crease, probably a 4. This one's got some other stuff on it, so probably a 3 and a 4 on these. But all right, they're probably $30, $40 cards graded, but for 15 bucks, I'm just gonna get them in a holder. It'd be easier to sell. I think I paid maybe $5 a piece for those or something. Got another Milton Bradley. This one's in a little better shape. So again, well centered, kind of a playing card from this is 1970. I don't think this one has any creases. I think this could be pretty decent. The edges look pretty good. Again, I'm trying to see if I don't remember any creases on this one. I'm gonna say this is probably a 5 just because of the staining and stuff, but could be a little better. So 5 on the 1970. That's page 1. Jump into page 2 here. I actually picked this Thurman Munson up from the same card shop, raw, as Clemente's there. I think this could be a 6. Obviously the black borders, very difficult card to get a good grade. This is actually Munson's more popular card than even his rookie card, but well centered. Some edge wear, which is expected on these cards, but I think it's a 6, maybe an outside chance at a 7. So I was gonna send this a PSA, but again, for 15 bucks and the drop off at National, I'm just gonna take it to SGC and see what they say. So I'm hoping for a 6 there. Got Jack Youngblood. This one came up in that big collection I bought at the beginning of the year with all the raw stuff. This one just looked really clean. This is rookie card. A little OC on the back. Slightly OC in the front. I think it's probably a 7. So what I'm gonna say there. Again, not highly valuable, but he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's in pretty good shape, pretty sharp, so I'm just gonna send it, get it slabbed up. So we'll say a 7 on the Youngblood. 83 Fleer, Tony Gwynn. This is one this one went into PSA as well. If you guys watched that video, I said I probably wasn't gonna send it back in, but figure for 15 bucks, and I'll get it back quick. Let's see if they can get a grade. It was min size required as well. It's well centered. I did get 2 8s and a 10 back in this card from PSA. This one I think has a chance at a 9, which only makes it a $30 or $40 card. But we'll see what happens. You never know. Could get a 9.5, could get a 10. So probably a little too OC for a 10, but we'll say a 9 on that one. I think that's pretty fair. We have, so I went the whole way up into the 80s, and now I started pulling a bunch of other stuff from other stuff, because we're going to go back in time a little bit. So got a 65 batting leaders, well 1965, but it's 1964 batting leaders with Clemente and Aaron. I think this card can get a 5. If it gets less than that, not really worth it. It's probably borderline, could be a 4 with the ink and stuff, but it is good centering, so I'm going to say a 5 on this one. Again, not an overly valuable card, but this stuff just becomes real easy to move when you get it graded. So 15 bucks into it, or 16 bucks if you include shipping. Probably get 30 or 40 bucks for it, or you get 5 otherwise. So this is another just sent it because it's really clean. It's a 1959 Senators team card. Some softness in the corners, but really sharp looking card, well centered. Back looks great. It's probably a 6, could be a 7. I'm going to say it's a 6. So 1959. We got Jim Bunning, 1961 Topps. Another one that's just really clean. Hall of Famer. Not that valuable of a card, but I'm going to say a 6 on this one as well. Can hope for a 7, but I think its corners are kind of soft in the back, but I think it could be a 6 and potentially higher. So I'll say a 6 on the Bunning. We got Luis Aparicio, another Hall of Famer here, 1965. See, great looking card. Corners are slightly soft. Another one that, when you look at the comps on these, you see people run auctions on these cards like this, and the auctions end really low. So I don't really trust those comps. I think these are probably $30 to $40 cards in a mid-grade. Some of the auctions end at like 15 bucks, which doesn't make any sense for Hall of Famers from this era in that kind of a condition. So I don't run auctions on these cards. I put them up for fixed price and negotiate from there. This one looks pretty good all around. I think it's another 6, outside chance at a 7. So I'll say 6 on this, but hoping for better on that one. That one's a pretty clean card. I got Al Kaline, another good centered example, 1969. This one's a little rougher. I think it's probably a 5, which makes it, again, probably a $35, $40 card and a 5. Corners are a little soft on the back, could be a 4. I'm going to say a 5 on this one. Nothing too crazy there. We've got a 1970 Topps Lou Brock. Just a really clean card. Again, not valuable otherwise, but I think it's probably a near mint type condition. I'm going to say it's a 7. If I get lucky, it'll be an 8. If I get unlucky, it'll be a 6. It is a little bit miscut, diamond cut there on the print, but looks pretty good overall. Front looks really good, well centered, so I'll say a 7 on the Lou Brock from 1970. Next up, 1970-71 Topps Phil Esposito. This is one, if you look at the comps again, in this condition, the card sells. I think there's a couple graded ones that went for like 15 bucks and like an 8, which I don't know how that can be as a Hall of Famer for 1970 in this condition. So this one's not an 8. It's probably I'll say it's a 6. It is off-centered, top to bottom, so it's short on the bottom there. I picked this up raw for a couple bucks. I bought this in, I think, in an antique shop or something. It looked really good. So I'll say a 6 on that one. Just for $30 grading fees, I wouldn't be doing this, but again, for 15, I'll take a chance on some of these. 74 rookie outfielders. Ken Griffey Sr. rookie card. Now, this is a clean card. Some chipping on the edge was expected with these older sets like this. I think this could be a 7 as well. Maybe an outside chance at an 8. I'm going to say a 7 on the Griffey Sr. Got a Bob Gibson, 1974 Topps. Again, just a good looking card. One of the best pitchers from that era. One of the hardest throwing pitchers from that era, 60s and 70s. This is probably a 6. Maybe an outside chance of 7. Bottom right corner's a little rough there. So I'll say a 6 on this one. We got an Eddie Murray rookie. OC, but pretty good otherwise. I'll say this is probably a 7 as well. Back's a little OC, slight whitening in the corners. If it were centered, I'd say it's an 8, but I'll say a 7 on this one. It's surprised this rookie card's not worth more in that grade, but it's pretty cheap. A lot of these, if they grade what I think, I'm only making, you know, 10, 15, 20 bucks per card, but it just becomes easier to get some value out of them. Andre Dawson rookie. I don't have a Dawson rookie in my Hall of Fame collection, so this will be it when it comes back. It's not super clean, but it's probably a 7-ish as well. It's in pretty good shape. It's good enough for me to try to get a 7 on it, so worth the risk in my opinion. So we'll say a 7 there. Could be an 8. Not really a whole lot wrong with it, just off center, left to right. So we'll say a 7 on the Dawson rookie. Molitor and Trammell, I actually have this card in an 8 already. Maybe it's a 9. What do I have it in? It was something I sent in myself in a PSA order. So if you go back, you'll see it. See if I have it sitting here. There it is. Yeah, 8. So I got this back in an 8. They look pretty similar condition-wise. The centering looks about the same. This may be a little more OC than this one. I'm going to say this is a 7, but I already have that one an 8. So this comes back as a 7 or an 8. I'll be moving one of them. So if you're looking for a decent grade Molitor, hopefully this comes back as a 7. I'll be putting that one up for sale. Again, I came from that big collection from the beginning of the year. All these 70s and 80s cards that were in great condition. I do have a 79 Molitor as well. Hoping for an 8 or better on this one, or else I wouldn't send it in. Looks very clean. Does have a fisheye in the back, but yeah, hoping for a 8 on that one. If I get lucky again, it'd be 9. Unlucky, it'd be a 7. So it's kind of in that range. But hope for an 8 there. That's his first card by himself. I've got 2 Eddie Murrays from that year. These are both really clean as well. I'm hoping for 8s on both of these. So that's why I'm sending them in. Could be a 7 and an 8. I don't think these will get 9s, but I'm going to say 8 on both of the Murrays. And then we've got 3 79 Nolan Ryans. These are all pretty similar condition. I think they're all too OC to get a 9. But I do think we'll get 7s and 8s. I'm hoping to get at least 1 8. But I'm going to say 7s and 8s on these 3. They're all really similar condition. I mean, they're just OC in different places, basically. But sharp all around. No creases. Corners are all pretty good. This is more OC in the back. That's probably a 7 right there. But yeah, so 3 of those. If we get one of those back in an 8, it'll be worth it. So I'm just going to put 7, 8 on all those. Could get surprised and get an 8.5, 7.5, who knows. SGC gives a little more half grades than PSA. Last 2 cards, we got a 1912 T202 Hassan Cigarettes. Catching Him Napping. Bresnahan and Oaks, Bresnahan Hall of Famer. I think it's Napa Joy in the middle there as well. Or Lajoie. Let me see. Maybe not. Oh no, it's Stovall. Anyway, Bresnahan Rebel Oaks. This is another one I picked up raw. I think at an auction line I got this. And just gonna get an SGC slot. I think it's probably a 2. There's no creases, but it does have quite a bit of wear from being folded where it's supposed to be. So I think this is probably a 2 in that grade. So we'll see there. I'm not really that familiar with those folding cards, but cool cards nonetheless. And lastly, here I got another trading card. This is from the 1880s. This is the Muff trading card. You can't really see it because they got the pharmacy over top of it. These trade cards, if you guys aren't familiar, they take these cards, would have had nothing on it, and then these companies use these cards to advertise their businesses. So they get all these unique business on these cards. William R. Green, registered pharmacist, put the stamp on himself, and then trade card. So you can see somebody bought this for 50 cents at some point. These go for over $100 now. This is probably authentic because of all this stuff on the back. So just hoping for authentic there. Get it in a holder. And that's it. So that's what I'm sending in. Again, gonna drop that off at the SGC booth this week. Get that out. I'll get those out of there on Thursday, so I don't have to carry them around. Looking forward to spending a couple days there with everybody. I am taking some cards. People wanted me to bring some cards that they want to buy from me, so I'm going to do that. And then again, I'll have a bunch of other stuff. So if you're looking to buy cards, trade cards, I'm going to have a bunch of vintage stuff, some modern stuff. I'll be there looking to trade and sell and buy. And I've got a couple big Hall of Famers on my list. So I'm going to come with some cash and hopefully make a few deals on some more difficult to find cards on some bigger Hall of Fame names. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you there this week. If you guys like the video, give us a follow, give us a like. As always, Medford Collectibles on all the platforms. I do have some new swag arriving today as well. We'll be rocking some Medford Collectibles t-shirts at the National, so be on the lookout for us. And we'll see you there on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.